Brought to you by Penguin.
A Cure for Darkness. The Story of Depression and How We Treat It. Written and read by Alex Riley. Introduction. On a chilly December morning in 2019, I walked to my local doctor's office in South Bristol just as grey clouds passed overhead to reveal a patchwork of clear blue sky. Unlike my previous appointments, some booked in an emergency, this one felt hopeful, like a milestone in my recovery. I told the doctor, a middle-aged woman with a kind smile who leaned forward in her chair as she listened, that I wanted to come off antidepressants. I had been taking sertraline, a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, or SSRI, every day for over 2 years, and I wanted to see what life was like without them. Could I be rid of the side effects that had become so normalized that I had forgotten what life was like before? Would my energy levels be any different? My feeling of connection to others? My libido? SSRIs are known to take some of the intimacy of life away, and I wanted to be reunited. The doctor asked me whether I was sure I was ready to come off these drugs. I told her that I was, adding that my partner, Lucy, was supportive of this decision. My bouts of depression had become so brief and infrequent that we hoped that I didn't need these drugs anymore. Although my thoughts still turned to suicide now and again, I felt confident that I could control them. The suicide plan that I had once sketched out didn't just seem like a distant memory, but the memory of a different person. In addition to antidepressants, I had been through 2 rounds of cognitive behavioural therapy, CBT, and seen therapists who practiced mindfulness and psychodynamic approaches. Consequently, I felt like I was better able to rationalise the extremities of negative thought that could make it feel like others would be happier, healthier, more content without me. While therapists can come and go within a few weeks, antidepressants often need to be taken for years to keep depression at bay. Before sertraline, I had been on citalopram, another SSRI, for 2 years. Chemically accustomed to their effects, coming off these drugs can be a torturous experience for many people. Withdrawal symptoms include dizziness, sweating, confusion, brain zaps, and, if recent anecdotal reports are confirmed, a heightened risk of suicide. That's why I met with my doctor and agreed to reduce my dose gradually, over months, and not the 2 weeks that psychiatric guidelines once recommended. After 4 years of elevated levels of serotonin, I was introducing my brain to a new equilibrium. At the same time, thousands of miles away in Wuhan, China, a novel coronavirus was spreading through its new home in the lungs of humans. Silent and unknown to science, this was the germination of a pandemic that would thrive on proximity, bring healthcare systems to their knees, and demand widespread quarantines in the general public. Had I known all this, I might have changed my decision to decrease my dose of antidepressants. After all, the consequences of a pandemic and the social triggers for depression overlap with frightening acuity. There's the death of loved ones, unemployment and poverty, major life transitions, trauma, divorce and domestic violence, loneliness, all unknown risk factors for depression, and all followed in the wake of COVID-19, a virus that could kill and debilitate, that led to some of the highest rates of unemployment since the Great Depression, and that forced billions of people to transition into a new and uncertain world. I reminded myself that anxiety and distress are normal responses to a global catastrophe. But if the depression returned, the crippling lack of motivation, and the mental pain that can make suicide appealing, I knew I could just as easily increase my dose as decrease it. My doctor recommended regular meditation and exercise to help with any withdrawal symptoms. I had been researching this book for 2.5 years by this point, and knew that both can have potent antidepressant effects. The practice of meditation is based on the positive acceptance of the present, leaving little space for the negative thoughts about the past and the future that often define depression. There is some evidence that it can even recalibrate the immune response, as low-grade chronic inflammation, the same bodily process that underlies rheumatoid arthritis and Crohn's disease, is a common contributor to depressive symptoms. These moments of silent contemplation might be seen as a form of mental medication. As long as depressive thoughts aren't allowed to spiral and grow, meditation is an antidepressant without side effect. Accepting the risk of injury and muscle tiredness, the same is true of exercise.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?